They called her the Witch of Wall Street, not because she cast spells, but because she could turn fear into fortune. In a world where women weren't even allowed to vote, she controlled more money than the U.S. Treasury. While the rich burned fortunes at lavish parties, she hoarded every dime. And when the markets collapsed, she was the one left standing, laughing quietly in the dark. Her name was Hetty Green, the richest woman America ever hated. Like Finney used to say, if they call you crazy while you're counting profits, let them talk. Madness spends the same as genius. Hetty Robinson was born in 1834 in New Bedford, Massachusetts, to a family that practically breathed whale oil money. Her father, Edward Robinson, was a wealthy Quaker, stern, disciplined, and allergic to waste. From the time Hetty was 6, she was reading him financial news out loud at the breakfast table. While other girls played with dolls, Hetty studied the stock tickers. By 13, she'd read the financial section of the newspaper more times than the Bible. And when her mother died young, Hetty learned an even colder truth. Money was the only thing that didn't leave. When her father passed, she inherited roughly $7.5 million, about $200 million today. But instead of buying mansions or throwing galas, Hetty wore the same black dress every day. She carried her documents in an old worn satchel and rented the cheapest room she could find in New York. People laughed. Then they realized she was laughing last. It was the Gilded Age, America's golden fever. Steel tycoons, railroad barons, and oil kings turned dirt into dynasties. But for every Rockefeller and Carnegie, there was Hetty Green, the woman who beat them at their own game. Hetty didn't gamble. She studied. She read company reports like novels, watching numbers for lies. While men shouted on the floor, she quietly bought when fear spread and sold when greed returned. When the panic of 1873 hit, markets imploded, banks failed, fortunes vaporized, men jumped from buildings. And Hetty, she went shopping. She bought undervalued railroad bonds, seized collateral from bankrupt bankers, and lent money at double-digit interest rates, with one rule: bring collateral or don't bother coming. Within months, her wealth doubled, and the whispers began. They mocked her thrift. They called her cold, calculating, greedy, but they never called her wrong. Like Finney used to say, the crowd never forgives the fox who eats alone. By the late 1800s, Hetty Green had become a myth. The woman in black, the miser of Manhattan, the richest woman alive who lived like she was broke. Reporters followed her everywhere, hoping to catch her spending money. They never did. She rode in second-class carriages, argued over laundry bills, and stitched her clothes by candlelight. When she visited her bank, crowds gathered outside, not to admire her, but to watch her, because rumor said that inside her little black satchel, she carried millions in negotiable securities, stocks, bonds, deeds. Some even said she slept with it under her pillow. But Hetty didn't trust anyone. Not bankers, not politicians, not even her own family. In a world ruled by men in silk hats, she ruled through fear, logic, and a ledger. And that's where her legend took a darker turn. One story, half truth, half fable, haunted her for life. It said her son, Ned, injured his leg, and instead of paying for a doctor, Hetty searched for a free clinic. By the time she found one, the infection was too severe. The leg had to be amputated. People turned on her completely. The richest woman in America, and too cheap to save her own child, no one cared whether it was true. The myth was more powerful than the fact, and in a strange way, Hetty seemed to like it that way. She once told a reporter, "When I see something cheap, I buy it, whether stocks or stockings." That line alone bought her another decade of infamy. Like Finney used to say, reputation is just free advertising if you can stomach the hate. In 1907, America faced another financial collapse. Banks were failing. J.P. Morgan himself locked financiers in his library, trying to stop the bleeding. And in the middle of the panic, the Witch of Wall Street came to the rescue. She loaned the city of New York $1.1 million in cash to keep it from going bankrupt, demanding, of course, full collateral in short-term bonds. The same newspapers that once mocked her now called her the woman who saved Wall Street. But she didn't bask in it. She counted her payments and went home. Like Finney once joked, heroes get statues, lenders get paid. Hetty Green died in 1916 at age 81. When lawyers opened her records, they found she had amassed over $100 million, nearly $3 billion today. No inheritance scandals, no stock crashes, just compound patience and relentless frugality. Her son Ned inherited her empire and promptly spent it. Bought yachts, estates, and made the front pages for his extravagance. Within a generation, her fortune was gone, and yet her legend outlived her wealth. They called her a miser, a witch, a villain. But history remembers her as something rarer, A woman who beat Wall Street without ever breaking its rules. Like Finney used to say, they mocked her for saving pennies while they wasted empires. And maybe that's the real witchcraft, turning discipline into destiny. So next time someone tells you money doesn't buy happiness, remember Hetty Green. It doesn't have to buy it. If it already buys freedom, like Finney used to say, not every fortune needs to be vast. Some just need to last.